With the release of the second season of the very popular Star Wars spin-off The Mandalorian, it only just occurred to me that I probably should review the first series of it. I think that we can all agree that recent Star Wars content hasn't been relatively good under the management of Disney and the real-life Emperor Kathleen Kennedy. In fact, most people would label her career as disappointing, disastrous, diverse, and many other words not suitable for YouTube. So, when it was revealed that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau would be some of the creators behind the show, it felt like it was going to be a breath of fresh air. So, I think you could say I was pretty excited for it. The series is set after Return of the Jedi. The Empire is pretty much destroyed, bringing peace to the galaxy. However, not all is well. Remnants of the Empire still lay scattered all over the galaxy. Their once powerful war machines now belonging to warlords and criminals, whilst mercenaries sell their services to some of the highest bidders. It's a chaotic time with no laws at all. Various planets and civilizations are still recovering from the horrific crimes of the Empire. Now, this is one thing the show definitely did right. We get to explore a part of Star Wars history that has never really been explored before. This time is perfect for our protagonist, the Mandalorian, a bounty hunter who has a mysterious past. He has been bringing in wanted criminals in exchange for money. The more dangerous the job, the more money he's going to receive. Well, the Mandalorian is in luck today because Carl Weathers has a very dangerous job for him. Mandalorian is told to meet up with a shady former Empire officer to discuss a job with a very large sum of money involved. So, as you would expect, this gets Mando's attention. His mission is to get his way into a very heavily defended outpost and retrieve a very important target. So, the Mandalorian does just that. Along with an IG droid, the Mandalorian manages to fight his way inside where he finds, oh my god. It's adorable! Look at his eyes! And his little smile! Oh, wait. No.
To be terminated.
Well, that certainly took a turn for the worse. What now? Ah, there we are. This little guy is the target, and for some mysterious reasons is incredibly valuable. And yeah, he is incredibly cute, something that the producers and writers definitely realise, because they milk it throughout the entire season. The amount of Baby Yoda merchandise that has been released is actually absurd. Anyways, Mando takes Baby Yoda, and that's where the episode ends. If you thought that episode was short and simplistic, well, that's probably because it is. The rest of the series is exactly like that. Short, simplistic, and easy to follow. Is that a good thing? I guess so. Instead of the series being complicated and crammed with so many plot points and characters, it just follows one character with one mission. The great thing about it is how it all flows. The series has a main overarching storyline, but standalone episodes which still manage to move the story along. However, there is one big problem with the show being so simplistic, and that is it's never too adventurous. It does try new things, like we will see later on, but they never really go anywhere. Anyways, episode 2 is just straight work and action. Mandalorian returns to his ship, ready to deliver Baby Yoda to the shady Imperial officer guy, only to find that it's been trashed by Jawas. So, with the help of a very wise passerby, he manages to track down the Jawas, who explain that they will only give him his parts back if he finds a weird egg thing for them. But, oh no, the egg is guarded by a big monster. Whatever will he do? It feels like a side quest in a video game. This is a common thing in the show though. The Mandalorian has his main mission, but becomes distracted by these additional quests. Like I said earlier, it's just really basic. Anyways, Mando gets the egg and can now continue on his merry way. Episode 3 brings a sort of opening trilogy to a close. The Mandalorian returns Baby Yoda to the shady Imperial officer and then upgrades his armor like a video game character. However, he feels guilty about giving Baby Yoda to the shady dude, so he returns to find out that they are experimenting on the poor child. So he murders everyone and saves Baby Yoda. However, Carl Weathers arrives to stop Mando from being a dick. Mando refuses to give back the child, so there's a big fight. All hope seems lost for him and Baby Yoda, but luckily some badass Mandalorians arrive on jetpacks to save the day. They buy Mando enough time to return to his ship and escape. The good thing about this episode is that it establishes the basic plot of the later episodes. The Mandalorian is now a wanted man on the run with a kidnapped alien child we need to learn more about and find a safe place for the child to live. This is where the series becomes self-contained stories still linking to the main plot. For example, Mando must protect a peaceful village from evil forces with stolen Empire weaponry. He must help a wannabe bounty hunter track down a dangerous assassin, or he even joins an old friend and some mercenaries to go on a heist mission to break out a prisoner. These are many classic tropes from Western movies and beyond. They provide good fan service and still manage to be simple, action-packed entertainment. The episodes don't go too far with crazy new plot points and storylines, but still manage to move the main storyline along. Then the show realizes that the series actually needs to end. So, the final brings back all the characters we've encountered in previous episodes for one big showdown with the Imperial baddies. We get more action, explosions, death, destruction, and even a face reveal from the Mandalorian. We are also introduced to the recurring villain for Season 2 who has the Darksaber. So, that's basically Season 1's storyline, which leads nicely into future series. There wasn't really much to talk about with the main storyline, but there are still little inconsistencies which I could spend hours talking about. So, let's do exactly that to extend the runtime of this video. Does the Mandalorian always leave Baby Yoda unattended and allow him to wander around highly dangerous places? Isn't he supposed to be protecting the baby? How did the child even survive in the outpost for so long? Did the people there feed him? Why does the big bad man arrive and kill like a dozen of his men? And why does he give the heroes until nightfall to decide whether or not to surrender? He's just given them extra time to figure out an escape plan. Most of these little points are just nitpicking and for plot purposes. Anyways, what do I actually think of the show? Well, it certainly is fun and different compared to the more recent Star Wars content. The show has some great action and managed to mix practical effects with CGI. Most of the acting is good, and it's always good to see the likes of Carl Weathers on screen again. However, the show certainly does have its flaws. Some of the dialogue is clunky, and the show wastes its time on pointless conversations with random characters, like the two Scout Troopers. They did have more character development than Rey ever did in 3 movies though. The show also introduces characters just to dump exposition on us, like the wise passerby. And another one of my main problems with the show is that it is too simple and restrained. It doesn't do anything too wild and has basic plot lines. Unlike most modern shows, The Mandalorian doesn't try and do too much with its budget and writing, and it plays it safe with simplistic stories. Which is a shame, because the show has so much potential and has interesting concepts, like the fact that the Mandalorians have to earn their armor. I can also understand the fact that the show wants to pull away from the big sprawling stories of the movies and tell a more self-contained and simplistic story that pays tribute to the classic serial adventures of the past, like classic Doctor Who or Flash Gordon. But the problem with this is that the stories need to be worth telling, with interesting plots, and they need to explore new concepts. The show kinda does do this because we sometimes hear something interesting or discover something shocking, but the show usually just mentions it once and carries on with things. However, the character of the Mandalorian himself is excellent. He is smart and resourceful and shows moments of weakness and vulnerability. His story arc from the beginning of the series to the end is great. He starts off the series as a basic, jaded, two-dimensional character, and ends the series as a likeable, roguish hero. Other characters like Cara Dune are also interesting. One of the best things about this show is, unlike modern-day Star Wars films, it isn't overly diverse. Mando and Cara are both powerful and strong characters of opposite genders. One isn't better than the other. Kathleen Kennedy should be taking notes. See, both genders can be smart and resourceful, except of course for Rey. However, the thing that the show succeeds in the most is the fact that it captures the wonder, magic, and adventure of the original Star Wars films. This is why the franchise is so iconic. It brings the adventures we all fantasize about having to life, and gives us a taste of what that adventure could be like. And that is probably the main reason that this show got such high praise. Fans of the old Star Wars stories and adventures, who just wanted something that slightly resembles the classic films, finally got something that actually entertains them. This show is also a great jumping on point to the Star Wars franchise. It is just plain, fun entertainment. I suppose you could compare the series to a pub lunch, simple and enjoyable whilst not being too over the top and complex. Overall, The Mandalorian is a very good show. Despite its flaws, it still manages to provide something to entertain fans new and old. I give it a 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, and remember to tell me your opinions in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time.